Business intelligence in SharePoint. What is it? Sometimes we think that the term business intelligence is an oxymoron, but there's lots of great business intelligence going on in SharePoint. We start with Excel services. Excel services allow us to publish portions of a workbook in a browser. It can be the whole workbook, but it can also be one object or item, a chart, a table, a pivot table or pivot chart report, a Power View sheet we created in Excel 2013. All of these different portions of workbooks can be published, and that gives us an alternative. We don't need to simply share an entire workbook. We can actually save the workbook in a location where there are only a small number of people who can view it. We can actually save this workbook in a place with one set of permissions and publish specific items out of it someplace else in our site. So Excel services aren't about the collaboration features of Excel that we're used to using. Excel services are almost the opposite of that, because Excel services are about delivering content without putting our entire workbook at risk or having it used. Another way to think about Excel services is they allow us to focus a user on the parts of a workbook we would like them to have access to. So we have no need to hide worksheets before we share something or redact confidential portions. This is a simple process, and I'll show you how to do it. In Excel, you name the items you want to publish, you save the workbook to SharePoint, and you hit the Publish Options button to determine how you're going to display information. Or you can simply add the Excel Web Access web part to display either all the named items or the entire workbook in SharePoint. So Excel services are a critical feature under business intelligence, because in many of our organizations, Excel is the business intelligence tool of choice. Then we have Performance Point services. Performance Point is used to create key performance indicators and scorecards and dashboards. Performance Point, like many of the other high-end features in SharePoint, actually was a separate product earlier. Performance Point Designer was a desktop product that you would use to be able to create dashboards. It was added to SharePoint 2010 and now has been integrated even further. The Performance Point Dashboard Designer is not a web client. It's a tool that actually runs on your desktop, and it's installed the first time you use it. You can only access it in SharePoint in the Business Intelligence Centers, which we'll talk about in a moment. But Performance Point is used to create all kinds of different dashboard content. We've also talked about Visio services earlier in this course. Visio in a browser that supports user comments. And a new feature in 2013 is the ability to automatically update diagrams that are based on content that's stored in a database or a table, data-driven diagrams. A business intelligence center then is a SharePoint site. It's one-stop shopping for business intelligence. It supports Excel services and Performance Point services and can even support Visio services that are running in SharePoint. So you use a business intelligence center to organize all of your business intelligence. So people don't have to go to the sales site to see some kinds of key performance indicators and then go to manufacturing to see others. All of your business intelligence in one place allows you to actually do analyses that cross over the different business units in your organization. So you'll use a business intelligence center to organize reports, dashboards, and scorecards. And I'll show you how to quickly create a business intelligence center in a later movie. Now in SharePoint 2013, there are some new features and I'd like to mention them. Visio services in this version is the first version that allows us to add comments to drawings when we're looking at them online. So that's a great tool. The Visio viewer allows commenting and replies. That's a lot easier than typing an email and saying, if you point to the third thing over on the right, or trying to comment on a PDF. Also, there's some cache size settings that have been implemented, and this is an administrative feature behind Visio services to make it run more smoothly. In Performance Point, we have the ability to save and migrate dashboards to other sites and site collections, and we have greatly enhanced filters, but also the ability to view Performance Point dashboards on an iPad or a Windows 8 tablet. Excel services now support Power View from Excel 2013, and allow you to post a pivot chart without having to post the corresponding pivot table. Also, new features for data exploration, the ability to support the field list for pivot tables and pivot charts, and when you publish workbooks, you have more options now than you had before, and this is a trend that will continue. And finally, the Business Intelligence Center itself has a brand new look and feel and a great new template. I'll be showing you how to use Excel services. You've already seen how to use Visio services, and we'll talk about how you create a Business Intelligence Center. These are high-end features, but they're available for every user of SharePoint Server in 2013. Let's climb into these features and see how we can use them to be able to better view and analyze our data.